Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. So glad you guys could join us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X. We're going to go ahead and bring in our friends over on Instagram as well so they can be a part of our conversation today. And last but certainly not least, going to connect with our friends over on Amazon Live. We have a great guest that's coming back today. She has a lot of exciting things going on heading into June. We're going to talk to her about, so definitely make sure you guys stay tuned. And we're now live on Amazon Live with Cyrus Webb Presents. If you guys are new to us on the Amazon platform, welcome. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You'll see it either here in this corner or down below. Gonna type you guys a quick welcome there in the group chat. We're excited about our next guest. Tina Siemens is back with us today. You guys know her as the author of 3 books, seminal, Some People Never Give Up. You guys can see it here. The Little Sandals That Could. We have it here, but also her newest book, Post Oak, is here too. Tina also is a proprietor of a museum in Texas. We're going to talk to her about the anniversary that's coming up next month, but also what she's been able to do in sharing her own love of history, but also the appreciation for it as well. Tina, thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate it.
As always, thank you for having me. It's always an honor and excited to be back on and sharing the love of my life, which is history.
Yeah, and hello to you, Stephanie, over on IG. Going to be able to see you. Tim, hello to you over there on IG as well. Appreciate you guys being with us. So, Tina, a very busy May for you. We were just talking about it's hard to believe we're halfway through the month already. Talk to us about this experience for you because you've been able to do a couple of things. One, you've been still talking about your newest book, Post Oak. We're going to get into that a bit here, but also sharing your own love of history and the work of the museum. What has it been like for you to see the response to the work you're doing when it comes to promoting history?
Well, it's so exciting because with history, you're discovering and uncovering new stories on a daily basis. And then to see how they fit into the bigger picture of history going into the future, it is just so exciting this week I have 2 school classes coming for the end of school field trip to the museum. And so it's just so fun for me to not only share the history, but see in the children's eyes and the visitors to the museum how they are connecting with what they are seeing. And so I've just thoroughly enjoyed um, gearing up to the second anniversary of the museum.
And we're going to let our audience know more about that. We're going to actually be covering a part of that here, Tina, on Amazon. So we're excited about that. You letting us kind of be a part of that experience with you. I want to talk about the beginning, though, Tina. For those who are just finding out about you and the great work you're doing, everything started with this book, Seminole, Some People Never Give Up. You told us in a previous conversation, Tina, that the book was initially just for your family to be able to share that history. What has it been like for you to see the way that people around the world have responded to the history you share in Seminole?
It's so wonderful to receive an email or a message from across the ocean, how they identify with the story and how it's similar to theirs. The beauty about history is there's only so many threads, and when you are in it, you've recorded it, you've preserved it. They can put themselves in the same shoes. The circumstances might be a little different, but the similarities are much more than the differences. And I love seeing how people have reacted to, oh, that is similar to what my family experienced. So it's wonderful to hear that they can relate and apply in their own journey of looking back into their own history.
Love that. Hello to you, Rebecca, over there on IG. Glad to be able to see you guys. A lot of new faces here. We appreciate you guys can be with us. But if you guys are new to Tina Siemens, we're going to let you guys know how to stay connected with her. Tina, that brings us to another great point. I see you guys over there on Amazon as well. You've been able to reach people literally around the world thanks to social media. I know social media has not always been the easiest to embrace, but what has it been like for you to see how this one tool has literally connected you with the world?
Well, it made me realize that I needed to step out. Like when a person gets in a comfort zone, it's
Mhm.
so hard to step out. But once you break free from that, the opportunities that come your way are just so amazing. And that's what happened with social media. Thanks to you, Cyrus, you kind of gently pushing me in that direction, saying, yes, you can do this. Uh, like I'm a person that's hands-on with an audience in front of me, but when it comes to speaking on, making a reel or speaking on social media. That was such a new and scary concept at first, but the
Yeah.
more you do it, the more with ease you can do it. And I've really embraced it, and I've so enjoyed stepping out and seeing the results from it.
Yeah. I said to Tina before we went live here, I had a surprise for her. And this is something that has to go to something that happened last year. So, for those who don't know, Tina Siemens and I, we've been working together now for a few years, but we've only met each other in person once. And that was not in her state of Texas or in my state of Mississippi. It was in North Carolina. She actually received an award for her book, The Little Sounders That Could. But Tina brought a gift to me. And I had not shared this publicly. But Tina, I thought it was so appropriate to share this with our audience, but really to think about you. And you gave me this little saying by Stacey Abrams, and I want our audience to see that. And it says, "Give me a place to stand, and I will move the world." And Tina, that is exactly what you have been doing. Even since you and I met each other in North Carolina the end of last year, you've been doing interviews with media all over the world. You've been sharing the work you're doing there at the museum. What has it been like for you to stand in the place that you are and to see the way that you are moving the world today?
Well, first of all, I'm humbled to be able to be asked, and so when you realize that you have an encouraging word or a piece of history or an encouraging thing that you want to share, when you are asked and you're given the platform to do so, that is just it opens up to where it's not only my story now, it's the world story. And I've been able to see that come to fruition. I will never forget this saying that you once told me, that if you're not invited to somebody else's table, then set your own.
Yeah.
And I feel that was such an impactful saying to me that I needed to just start with what I have.
Yeah.
So often we get stuck in it has to all come to be in a perfect synchronized plan. But if you do baby steps toward your bigger plan, start today with what you've got. And that was the lesson that I saw come alive before my eyes. And it has just been a beautiful journey to be a part of.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. To Kenya, hello to you. One of our Mississippi Success honorees for this year here in Mississippi says, "I love that." Yeah, this I had never heard this statement before by Stacey Abrams until you gave me this, and I said to myself, I have to be able to share that. So I thought this was a perfect time, Tina, to be able to share you, and I appreciate you giving that to me. So Tina, let's talk about the West Texas Living Heritage Museum that
That's
you
right.
have there in Texas. And that's a great example of what you just said, right? And that is you taking what you have and look at what you've done with it. Could you have imagined when you started the museum now going on 2 years ago that would have done the things that it's done and you've welcomed the people you have there to the museum?
Absolutely. That was my dream. For 20 years, I dreamt of having a museum, but I was stuck in that I didn't have the land. I didn't have the perfect buildings, although I had the blueprints drawn. But that is where my dream ended. Like it was just a blueprint on a shelf. And when I started praying, Lord, if 2023 is the year that I can open the museum, then allow me to find a building. And as I was praying, it was like, you already have a building. We had just moved onto our farm, and so I had moved out of a building. It's not ideal. It's out of the city limits. It's out in the country, but it's a destination. And when people want to go to something, they don't mind driving a few miles. So it's about 3 miles out of city limit. But I was given that opportunity, just start with what you got. And so because it was a living my home, I started imagining what would be in each room, and it just came together to where it flows. I'm able to represent the Texas history, the American history, my culture, the Mennonite history, and it just works. All the things, every museum has something for laundry room. So naturally, my laundry room became the holder of all things laundry room, from the tubs to the different washing machines. And that is how I just utilized what I had. and it's now going on 2 years, and it's becoming a destination for locals. And I've had people from literally from coast to coast stop in for a visit. It's been absolutely so much fun to see it unfold and be a part of a bigger picture.
Yeah, yeah, and I can't wait to see what's to come. As I mentioned, we're going to be covering some of the event live here on Amazon as well, with Tina as our guest there at the museum. Hello to you, DJ Fit. Good to be to see you over there on IG. And yes, we are live for you guys over there on Instagram. This is not a pre-record. We are actually live here with Tina Siemens. She's a best-selling author of 3 books, seminal, Some People Never Give Up. You guys can see it there in the carousel. Her second book is The Little Sandals That Could. You guys can see it there. And then her newest book is called Post Oak. And Tina, one of the things I appreciate so much about you, you and I both share a love and respect of history, but I have never thought about writing history. You have been able to let us into your family, but I want to talk about what is not always comfortable. And that is that, as we know, and we see it in the world today, not all history is pleasant. But even for you, you have not shied away from not only talking about the good times of your family, but also the challenges. Even for those who haven't read Tina's personal story in The Little Sandals That Could, she talked about being made fun of, when she went to a school. She talked about the challenges of being there. What was that like for you, Tina, to show that unfortunately all history may not be pleasant, but it all is necessary?
Well, where there's a will, there's a way. And if a person is determined, whether it is a language barrier or a culture barrier or a brand new country like it was for me, I had all of the above stakes against me. But my parents were determined that we were going to make it a new home. And I saw their perseverance. I saw my ancestors' perseverance moving from one country to another. But in the end, it was not about what has been, but what am I going to do about it today, moving me into the future? And that is where I feel like history has so many lessons that we can glean from. And like Winston Churchill says, that if we don't learn from the past, we're doomed to repeat it. And that is the good and the bad. We want to repeat the good, but the bad that is in our history, like you said, there's many dark chapters all over the world's history. But do we get stuck in hyping on the unfairness, or do we take the lesson from it and move forward and make a better place for the next generation?
Yeah.
That's the personal choice.
That is, and it goes back to this quote that you gave me, Tina. Again, it's so appropriate. And I again, when I first read it, again, when you gave me this, like I mentioned, it was my first time hearing it. But I thought about you because even, I want to say this for our audience, it is not easy for Tina to take credit for what she has done, and to recognize what she has done. But Tina, did you, when you gave me this, did you see yourself in this quote?
I saw myself like really loudly in that quote, but I see also what you've accomplished. So it was just the perfect saying that I wanted to embrace, and that you have demonstrated for me. So I just I love to give a gift that has meaning, not only for myself, but for the person that I'm giving it to. So that is one of my, and I'm gonna be bold. You've asked me in North Carolina to embrace, and I love giving gifts that are personal, that have a meaning, not just something that you'll put away. And that is one of my spiritual gifts that I have been given. And so I'm gonna start embracing, like, thank you, Lord, for giving me that gift. And I want to continue, because if I don't give something that I want, then it's not really a gift. We cannot give a gift of something that I've discarded or I'm not using. We need to give gifts that mean something, and so that's something that I want to continually embrace, to be able to give to others, not only as an author, but in my museum, in my personal life. I want my walk to be a gift to allow others to see, if they follow my footsteps, that they will be able to achieve something in their own journey.
Yeah. Well, Tina, you definitely are doing that, and thank you so much for saying that. And I want you to know the bookmark you're giving me it has been getting good use as well. So
Good.
I appreciate all the gifts you gave me there in North Carolina. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the new book, Post Oak, because I think, Tina, when you first were telling me about writing this book, I knew none of the history. And I tell my audience, I'm always very transparent. I know the things I know, the things I don't know, I like to learn. And I think we
Mhm.
do ourselves a disservice when we pretend to know things that we don't know because then we can't learn it. So I went into this book, Post Oak, even after you telling me about it, not knowing anything about Point Parker or any of the events that happened. But I came away with such an appreciation, not only for people working together, but also people working for the land. And I want to talk to you about that part because you've noticed I brought this up now a couple of times in our interviews because it impacts me so much. I don't think we as individuals realize the power we have when it comes to the land that we're on and the responsibility. What have the conversations been like for you, Tina, in talking about that part of Post Oak? Yes, there is the other events that you have in the book, but that connection to the land and the danger that we pose to the land,
Mhm.
I think is so important. What have those conversations been like for you?
Well, it's for me personally knowing that part of the history that the natives they immigrated. I mean, they migrated from one region to another where they followed the seasons,
Mhm.
and when the settlers came in, they started overuse of the land and overpopulating some uh, one particular farm or some so migrating from seasonal migration as the natives did, we can learn so much from that because they went where the buffalo went and the buffalo went where the grasses went. So it was a over the course of a year they had migrated through different regions, so they used what the land gave them and then they moved on and let the land rejuvenate and redo. And it goes back to biblical times in the Old Testament. Every seventh year, they let the land rest. And because of, I feel like, greed, the love of money has made where we just overuse the privilege of being able to glean from the land. We've misused that in many for many years already. And so for us to learn from that part of the history is so valuable to let the land rest because it too needs regeneration and generation. And so I feel like for us to take some of that history literally is an important thing, to give back to the earth, to not just keep taking but also to give back, and then that will benefit the future generations.
Yeah. There's also another theme in Post Oak. I'm going to highlight it for you guys over on Amazon. That's Tina's newest book here. And again, as you can see, all three of her books are here on Amazon, either in print or Kindle. Even she has audiobooks there too. But that is that we're stronger together. Tina, this is one thing that I've always realized when I grew up. I was told that you can achieve more together. Of course, as you mentioned, that's even biblical. You've been able to show though by being a bridge, and you've used that word in conversations you and I've had both, you know, personally, but also in interviews like this. What has it been like for you to be that bridge for people who feel like they don't have a voice to connect them with those that can be a benefit to them?
Well, there is many bridges in this world. Many people offer that opportunity for somebody else. Whether they would literally come to me and ask how I've done things, but maybe just a conversation for them that might be a bridge for them to be able to step over and, like we began this conversation, step out of the box and just bridge your dream to reality because that power is within each human being. And so for me to have been able to not only bridge history but cultures, and then seeing how I can now uh, put that stake in for the next generations to learn about history, but also to be able to walk and have them discover something like this is what I can contribute. If you see a child, like this afternoon, I'll have kindergartners and first graders coming to through the museum. And I am so excited to see in their eyes how they get something They might get something from a different story that I'll be telling or a different activity that I'll be doing. But for them to be able to connect a visit to a museum where they will be able to bridge their future, that is what we are here for. We're not here for ourselves. We're here to bridge for the people around me. And for us to be that light and salt, that's our God-given obligation and privilege. And so for us to do that, then we are fulfilling our destiny.
Yeah, such a great point. Last thing I want to talk to you about, Tina, it's been such a great conversation with you. But another way that Tina is stepping outside of the box is embracing her other role. Now, I mentioned her as an author, I mentioned her as an historian. She's also the co host of our show we have here on Amazon, Word That You Live By. We're on break right now. We'll be back later this year. But she also is embracing a new title, that is speaker. Talk to us about that, Tina. Now that you are out embracing your role as a speaker, being able to talk about your love of history, the connection to that, what has it been like for you to step further outside of your box?
Well, for years and years, I would have never dreamt of that my stories would impact somebody outside of my list, physically in my circle, whether it was here locally or me traveling maybe 10, 20 miles. But now for me to be able to do that online via Zoom or via StreamYard, that is such a new concept to me, but I am embracing it and I'm excited to reach new audiences and that my story matters.
Yes.
Everyone has a story that matters, and for us to then say, "I want to be out there, being that voice for my story," then I'm fulfilling the reason I was born. I say I live my purpose on purpose, and
Yeah.
that's a conscious decision that I've made, and I want to help others bridge their purpose as well.
Well, you're definitely doing that, Tina. I'm so glad to be on this journey with you. It's been great watching you, being able to not only expand on your audience, but also expand your boundaries too of what you've been able to do. Again, everyone, Tina Siemens has been our guest. She is a best-selling author, historian, and speaker. Her newest book is called Post Oak. You guys can see it here. You guys can get it here on Amazon, or of course, as I mentioned, her other books are available here as well. Tina, let our audience know how to stay connected with you and also let them know about the events taking place around the West Texas Living Heritage Museum that's coming up in June.
Thank you. I would love to hear from you. You can email me at seminalthebook gmail.com, or you can visit my museum's website as well as my author's website. So Seminole the Book or the West Texas Living Heritage Museum. I would love to hear from you, and I'm so excited. If you're in the traveling area, if you're going through West Texas sometime June 17th through the 20th, we'll have different activities for every day. You might have your hands on making your own smoked sausage. And so we'll have different activities. We'll have pressure canning. We'll have historians come in and tell their stories. So every day from the 17th through the 20th of June, we'll have different activities.
Love
Would
that.
love to have you join us.
You know, I'm a Mississippian. I love my smoked sausage, Tina. Don't be threatening me with a good time.
There you go. It will be hands-on from the full calf in the morning. By the evening, it'll be sausages and pressure canned in a mason jar.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Tina, great conversation with you as always. Looking forward to our next chat together.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me again.
Well, glad to do it. And we thank you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.